everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christine and I've been collecting some really interesting fabrics, and today I'm so excited to share them with you. Before we dive in, I'll share that I'm wearing a new Manhattan dress that I made. So if you don't already know, the Manhattan dress and top pattern is one of my free patterns, and this one is a dress and I'm just wearing it with a belt today. But this fabric has actually been in my stash since 2015, which I can't believe it because it feels like I just bought it maybe a year or two ago. But I actually had bought this on a trip to Italy when I was still living in New York. I went to Italy and I bought this from a fabric store in Rome and took it back to New York with me. And then this summer, when I emptied out my storage unit after all those years, this was in my stash still. So I brought it over to Spain with me and finally got to sew it up. So I really love it. I love the colors. Yeah, it's 10 years old, so maybe it does have a bit of that kind of mid 2000, the mid 2015 style to it, but I absolutely love it. I love that it has kind of the watercolors. I love bold colors, but then the black and white, and I think it works in this case with a belt. The Manhattan dress, you don't have to belt. It's really comfortable without, but this one I thought I'll put a belt on it. Okay, so I've got a kind of a mix of fabrics. Most of them I've just picked up recently, so I'll just kind of run through them. So this fabric you might have seen when I went to Castellón de la Plana, I think nearly a year ago. I picked this one up. And I know I have the vision. So this is going to be a dress. So it has a really beautiful drape, and I think it's going to work really nicely back to black tights. I don't have a pattern yet. I was thinking maybe I would do my Maiden Lane dress with the View B, which has a fuller A-line skirt. I originally bought this. I thought I was going to make a top out of it, but I got the vision and it's going to be a dress. So it definitely is showing up more purple and more of a contrast on what I'm seeing on the camera. In person, it's quite dark. You don't necessarily see the black, but it's kind of cool. It has a little bit of a modern design, and I think this will be a good, just kind of a casual dress back to black tights and black boots. So yeah, I'm excited that I finally had the vision, and I'm really excited to sew that one up. Okay, so the next one, I'm gonna just go kind of out of order of my pile. So the next one that I have is this adorable little gingerbread men and girls, or boys and girls. It's just a cotton poplin that I got a few months ago at Holly Lobby. And I got it because I said I definitely need to make a pair of holiday pajamas. So this is going to be, I'm going to make my mulberry pajamas. So they have just like a traditional rounded collar and a ruffle at the bottom of the top. And so I think it's going to be super cute. And I'm planning to do some kind of gingham piping, because you do piping around the collar. And so I think like a little gingham, I don't know if I'll do probably a red gingham, or maybe even a green, I think could be kind of cute, maybe even brown. So what I'll probably do is just take this with me to the fabric store and just kind of play with the ginghams to see which one. I love that it has kind of this white, sort of almost like snowflakes around them. So this is going to be a really cute pair of pajamas. I pre-washed this, but I definitely need to give it a little iron there. But yeah, some holiday pajamas are in the works. Okay, now let's move on to a project that I am so excited about. So I started a new series called Splurge versus Sew. And I think this might be the next episode of Splurge versus Sew, because I was super inspired by a Valentino dress from, I think it was from 2013. I'll pop a photo here so you can kind of get the idea that I'm thinking about. But what I'm going to do is, so I have this beautiful black, it's like a wool, it has just a bit of a stretch. and kind of in the sun. So it's just a really classic wool, wool gabardine. It has a really nice soft drape, but it does have some structure. And what I'm going to do is I have two beautiful laces here. So this is the first one. Isn't that just gorgeous? I love it. So I got this lace here in Valencia. There's a little, it's called Plaza Redondo. And there are several like little kiosks surrounding this big fountain. And many of the kiosks sell lace. And so I love going there. And that's where I found this lace. So then I got this one. So I was thinking of doing this one along the waist and then this one along the top and the bottom. So they, they're not like in the same, they're not exactly the same lace, but I think that they look really beautiful on the black. Let me see if I can kind of show how beautiful they look, kind of against the black. So I think this is going to be, I really want to do this soon because I think this would be just a gorgeous, elegant um, a holiday dress for, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing for a holiday, but most likely I will want to wear a dress. And so I just thought this one, it's so elegant and beautiful. And it really, I love old things. And so I think this just really speaks to just that, you know, kind of that elegant history, even though these are new, it just kind of gives me that antique feel. And I kind of love the eclectic mix of the laces back to black, which is, a pretty safe color. So yeah, I'm so excited about that one. So let me know if you, I'm thinking I'll probably do it as a splurge versus sew. So let me know if you would like to see a little bit how that one comes together. Yeah, let me know. Okay, so the next one is one of these finds that I just happened to pop by my local fabric store, which I do quite often, let's just be honest, okay? I popped in one day just to see what was new and what was on sale, and I found this fabric. Dun, 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 dun. Look how cool it is. And I mean, it's just like instantly spoke to me. And this, it's actually Chanel. It's a Chanel fabric. It's wool, and they had like a selection of five or six different fabrics that they had just gotten these end cuts. I think this is, I want to say, was it a meat? Yeah, I think it's 2 meters. And so they were just like these end cuts that they had, and they were selling for a really, really good price. And so I couldn't resist. And I am going to make a dress out of this. And I'm going to obviously use this along the bottom. And so the dress will be just a purple with let me see if I can kind of show. Yeah. So this will just be along the bottom, and then the top of the dress will be purple. Isn't that so fun? Oh my goodness. But then the pink and the bright color, and it has almost kind of like a 60s, 70s feel. And so I just jumped on this one. I was so excited that I popped in that day. And I think it's a really interesting fabric. So this one I am so excited about. I don't know, we'll have to see. I don't know for sure that I'm going to get to this before the holiday. But if I do, it would make a really lovely holiday dress, or yeah, I mean, really any time of the year I'll wear it. I'm going to make it long sleeve most likely. So it will be more of like a winter, spring type of a dress. But I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about the unique fabric find. Okay, now I have two fabrics that I just picked up. And so I'm gonna kind of show them together because let's start with the trim. So last year, you might remember I was making a Great Jones jacket, which is one of my favorite jackets. I know that it's quite popular as well because it's just a really good basic jacket. And so I had picked up this trim for thinking that I was debating whether to use it on another jacket that I had, the striped jacket. And I'll pop a photo here. I ended up actually using the selvage edge of that particular striped fabric because this one was just a bit too dark for the jacket style. So I still had this in my stash, and I love it. And I knew, okay, next year I'll probably do like a black type of jacket or something, and use this beautiful trim. So it has like that pop of blue, and then it has some silver, almost like a metallic, and then the white, and of course kind of like a base of some black. So it's a really interesting trim. And I think I figured out, I think I have two options of how to use it. So the first is this really interesting tweed that I picked up yesterday. These were both on sale at my local fabric store for €3.99, and I couldn't say no. It's like mind blowing. I am so glad that I popped in. I wasn't going to go in because I was like, no, I just was in there. They didn't really, have anything new, but I was like, no, I'll just pop in. And I'm so glad I did. So this one I think is going to make a gorgeous Great Jones jacket. I made like a pink tweed last year and I absolutely love it. It just goes on so easily with jeans or over, a dress or whatever. So this is an option. Let me know what you think. Like if I did this trim with this, I think that it's kind of an interesting combo. Um, so yeah, the other option for this, if I don't make a jacket, the other option is to make a beautiful dress. For some reason, I just thought this would be such a beautiful dress. That could be dressed up, it could be dressed down. I'm thinking kind of, maybe even a Manhattan dress. I don't know about the puffy sleeves with this though, but some kind of dress that I could wear back to tights. But the other option I have for a jacket is this blue. So this is a blue tweed. You can kind of see, um, yeah, so from far away, you don't see quite as much texture, but close up, it does have quite a bit of texture. So let's see this one with this trim. I think let's see, it's a little bit more of a contrast. So it would be the trim, it would be down the center front, all along the bottom edges, and then just around the neck. So it would kind of frame this one. But now that I'm seeing it from afar, I kind of like it with the black and white. But you'll have to tell me. I always thought that this trim was going to go back to black. But when I put it back to just a solid black, it's very flat. Like it just doesn't quite work. So I was like, well, this one has that texture. So it could be kind of beautiful with this, which I don't think it's horrible, but yeah, it's still a little flat. It kind of is too much of a contrast, I think, between the two, that the trim just is kind of like, whoa, it's just a little bit, it sticks out a little bit too much. I think there's too much contrast. Whereas with this one, it's almost like it just kind of flows. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested. I think this one definitely needs to simmer a little bit, just to kind of figure out what's going to work. But if I don't do, one is going to be a jacket, one is going to be a dress. We know that for sure. So whatever I put the trim on will be a jacket, and then this would be a beautiful dress. Just back to black tights. Okay, and then you know that I'm always on the lookout for my vintage linens. So I am going to be doing a sale. For those of you who know about Sew Expo, I will be at Sew Expo again this year, and that's at the end of February. So I'll be doing a sale, mid-February before I head out, and then I'll bring whatever sells with me, and I'll ship it from there. So if you're not already on my newsletter list, definitely, I send like a weekly or maybe every other week newsletter, and that's where I'll put the sale. So if you're interested in perusing some vintage linens, I will definitely pop your name on my newsletter, and then you'll find out. So one of the ones I just wanted to share was this beautiful round that I just got the other day, and it's so beautiful. Let's see, I gotta see the whole thing. So it's so now let's look close. So it's kind of like a quilt in that it has the squares, but I love the embroidered squares because they have an applique effect. So this is like an organza, and then it's bordered with the applique in just like a different cotton. And the applique corners are really intricate and beautiful, and the embroidery as well. I've like examined this really closely, and I'm pretty sure this is done by hand, which just boggles the mind, but it's really beautiful. At first I was like, no, I think it's done by machine. But the more closely I look, I do think that it was done by hand. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was done like in China by hand, uh, but it's just absolutely exquisite. And then it has the little flowers all along and the inset lace. So this one, I'm not sure if this one will make it to the sale or not, because I'm like, that would be so beautiful. And I'm thinking about maybe making something for my small fashion brand out of it. But I have a ton of others, but that's just one that I wanted to show. Oh, and then one last fabric I have to show you, because this is going to be something for Owen. So I made him a new bed, but I just made like the base of the bed with like a white cover. And he's been sleeping on the white, but I need to make like a cover. And I'm going to do a French cushion cover, which is where I'll pop like a kind of inspiration pic. You do like hand sewing along the borders to kind of give it just like a French mattress look. So I did pick up this one, which is looking rather. It's a richer color in person. Let's see if I can get it farther away. It's looking rather pea green on camera, but it's a bit richer in person. And green kind of goes with my colors, and so yeah. So I'm gonna make him a bed out of this. So it's been on my list for quite a while, and I really need to get to it because he needs a good bed. He needs a very fashionable bed. So speaking of Owen, he is asleep in said bed there. So he has his little spot, and he looks out the window from his little bed, and so he's all curled up in a ball. I love it. It's getting a little bit colder here, and so in the mornings he's just all snuggled up in his little ball, and he's just all cozy and warm. It's really nice. So, anyways, I think that's what I've got. So, I have some good sewing plans. I'm really excited about these fabrics. I feel like winter just brings kind of a different types of fabrics, different types of sewing projects, jackets and beautiful dresses. So yeah, I'm gonna get busy. Let me know what you think about the trim, and should I go with the lighter tweed, or the darker tweed, or maybe neither? Maybe I just need to keep holding on to it. And let me know if you want to see the sew versus splurge for my lace dress. I'm debating because I have another idea in mind as well. So I was like, maybe I'll just not do that one and do the other one. But I could do them both as well. So, anyways, let me know. And I hope that you're doing well. And I'll see you very soon. Okay, bye.